Good day to my honorable judges. The motion set before us today is this House would lower the voting age, and the proposition is firmly for this motion. Now, before I make my arguments, let me define what voting age is. According to the Indian federal system, the voting age or any person is eligible to vote if he or she is a citizen of India and is above the age of 18. Now, does lowering the voting age means that we're going to make a 5-year or a 6-year-old vote, or are we going to make a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old who knows about the constitution, who knows about how the voting system works, or are we going to make those kind of people who are going to be the future leaders of India very soon vote? It is obviously the second one, wherein we make sure that 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds who have studied this in their civics textbook or who have studied this through external knowledge end up voting. Now, I'm making 3 arguments today, and they are, now this makes sure that the youngsters are politically aware. The second argument is that it gives them a sense of responsibility. And the third argument that I am making today is that it fosters hope for future leaders and makes sure that the current leaders target the youngsters. Now, for the first argument, make sure that the youngsters are politically aware. In a census that was taken a few days ago, it showed that 47% of youngsters weren't interested in politics or didn't know who their MLA was. Now, considering a constituency as big as India, it is not enough if you know who the president is. It is not enough if you know who the prime minister is. And by introducing the voting system, we are going to make sure that the children of today, the teenagers of today, the adolescents of today are politically aware, and they know who their representative is, and they know who their member of parliament is, and they know who and all are representing them, their state, in the bigger house or in the parliament. Now, this brings me to my next point. It gives them a sense of responsibility. The moment you realize that you have the key to your nation's leader, you have the key to your nation's future leader, it gives the person who's voting, it gives the person who's electing their leader a sense of responsibility. It makes sure that they will make the right choice, and they will make a choice that is best for the nation. And this fosters a sense of responsibility from a very, very young age for our future citizens, which is absolutely essential, considering the fact that by 2025, most of India, such a huge democracy, will be filled with youngsters. We need to make sure that the youngsters are aware of the concept of voting, are aware of how voting procedures take place sooner in their lives. This brings me to my third point. It fosters hope for future leaders. If you don't like the current political system, if you are forced to vote but you don't know who to vote for because you think that after all the studies you've done, you think that none of them are eligible enough, it will kindle a spark in those teenagers who think that. It will kindle a spark, and it will make them create a better political system. It will make them create a better governance order, which is exactly what we need for a huge democracy such as India, which has a lot of flaws in it due to its sheer size. Considering the fact that leaders and youngsters are willing to lead this movement, it will be such a positive, it will have such a positive effect on the youngsters if they see the flaws of the current government and they can implement it sooner because they realize that they had a chance to vote. And this will make sure that the major target audience of the politicians will change. There are so many people, so many students for 15 to 16-year-old age circle present in India today, and this will make sure that the politicians target a little bit more for them, probably try to improve the education system, present education system, or try to improve the present schooling system, try to improve healthcare facilities for these people in order to get their attention. And this again leads to a better governance system. With this, I conclude my speech by saying that this House conducively wants to lower the voting age to say 15 or 16 years old to make sure that we raise socially responsible people.